Hey everybody. So today I'm going to read a book called From Seed to Plant, and it's by Gail Gibbons. And if you look at this cover and think to yourself, is this going to be a fiction or a non-fiction book? I see that it has illustrations and they're even a little bit cartoony, but I happen to know that when I flip through this book, I happen to know that it has a lot of science information in it. So this is going to be a non-fiction book. So it's going to teach us some real facts about seeds and plants. And has some beautiful illustrations that go with it. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. And in this picture, it shows you a bunch of different types of plants. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. Look at all those different seeds. Some of them we would probably call a nut, but as you know, nuts are also seeds. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So the idea here is that a sunflower is going to make seeds that will grow more sunflowers, and an oak tree is going to make seeds, acorns, that are going to grow more oak trees. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. And we've talked about that at school, that usually seeds are going to be made at the place of the plant where the flowers appear. And that's usually where your fruit is going to appear too. A flower is made up of many parts. Now this, I'm just going to hold this up for you and let you see all those different parts. All the different parts. In kindergarten, we just really worry about the stem and the leaves and the flower and the seed and the fruit, if it's a fruiting plant. But these are all the other parts of the plant where the pollen is made and where the plant makes more seeds. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. This is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. So there's one kind of flower and its parts. And there's another kind of flower and it's showing you that wind blowing the pollen around. And you may remember that, seeing yellow stuff floating around or sticking on your car. That's pollen, and that is the way that those trees are making seeds for new plants. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice, called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. So this is showing you that wind sometimes blows pollen around, but sometimes animals help move pollen around. Insects and birds, when they're drinking the nectar. Do you remember when the monarch butterflies drank the nectar from the flowers so they would have energy to fly? Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto the pistil. So there are the bee, that's a bee and a hummingbird going to a different flower. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. The seeds grow inside the flower even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. So you've actually seen this happen in your garden, although you probably really didn't know what was happening. When your plants, when the flowers start to die and the petals drop off onto the ground, what's left is something that's protecting a seed that could make a new plant. And of course, there's a pod, because peas and some kinds of beans have pods, and they're protecting the little seeds inside, the peas and the beans. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Or in this case, ready for us to eat, right? Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. So there's some seeds from maybe a dandelion dropping down onto the ground where they might grow into a new plant. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. So those are the kind of seeds that pop out into the air, and then there is a bird carrying a branch, and all those berries are dropping off, and every berry that drops off is a seed that could become a new plant. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along the shore. So that's another way that seeds move. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. Look at these pictures. Have you ever seen seeds like these? We used to call these helicopters when I was little. And then this reminds you of a dandelion. If you've ever blown one of those fluffy dandelion flowers, those are all seeds. And so when you blow them, you're sending them off into the air where they can fall and maybe become a new plant. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later, they drop off onto the ground. Look at that. There's a little squirrel hiding some nuts. And then there's a seed attached to that person's pants. And then it's going to drop off somewhere else. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. So in these pictures, these kids are reading the packages and figuring out how to plant their seeds. So the packages usually tell you how deep to plant them and how far away to plant them and how much water the plants will want. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. So did you know that that's how that seed starts to grow? Because it actually has some stored food in there. Not like a hamburger and french fries, of course, but special sugars that the plant can use to grow. And there's the very beginning of that plant ready to pop out of the shell of the seed. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. Now I'm going to tell you that I'm going to show you in a video how we might start some seeds without using soil. So seeds can start without soil, but they won't grow into a whole mature plant that can make fruit or make more seeds unless they have some soil, usually. There's exceptions to every rule. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. So check that out. So almost always the first thing that pops out of the seed is some root. And it's going down, and then the next thing is a little sprout that wants to go up. And can you guess why it wants to grow up? Yeah, because plants, green plants, need sunshine. So it's trying to grow up towards the sun. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot towards the sun. And there's the little stem that's come up out of the ground, and it started making leaves. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight, and the air all around the plant. So there's the plant getting older, getting more mature, and it's using different things to grow. And what it's using is minerals and water that it sucks up through its roots. It's using sunshine, and it's using carbon dioxide from the air. All those things these green plants need to make their own food and keep themselves healthy. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. So now that has grown all the way up and is making its own flowers. And then we know that where the flowers are, seeds will grow. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition, vitamins, and minerals. And they are tasty too. Look at all those foods. And you're familiar with a lot of what a lot of the seeds look like in some of these foods, right? And some of the things are the seeds themselves that we're eating. And then the back of this book has some projects for growing some things. And I'm going to do a little separate video about that and show you some things that I'm going to try to grow here at our house so that you guys can watch what I'm growing. And maybe you can even try growing some things yourself. Okay, so that's the end of From Seed to Plant. And I want you to remember back and think about the things that you learned about how seeds get moved around. Can you think of 3 ways that seeds get moved around? So 1, yep, wind is one. Okay, besides wind, something else. Animals do it. Yep, squirrels, birds, all kinds of little creatures are carrying. Humans, we carry seeds around and accidentally drop them off. Sure, because they're attached to our clothing, or we carry them and drop them. Good. And water. Sure, water is another way. So sometimes seeds float around in water and then land on the ground somewhere and start to grow. Do you think that every single seed that drops onto the ground grows into a new plant? Why? Yeah, I think probably. In fact, I know that not all the seeds grow into plants. And it's because they don't have what they need to grow. So they either don't have enough water, or they don't have enough sun, or they don't end up in the dirt or the soil, and so they don't actually grow. But some of them do. And if you go outside and look around, you might see some tiny little sprouts of different trees. In my yard, lots and lots of weeds, and also some little baby trees as well. So get out there and look at some plants and think about, every time the wind blows, think about how that's blowing seeds around and how new things may sprout up in the grass and dirt around your house. Okay, see you soon. Bye.